The day started like any other. Blue skies, children laughing, cities alive. But before the sun could set, the sky turned into fire. From the far side of the moon, hundreds of alien ships appeared, black, silent, and endless. The Galaxy Council had arrived. For years they had watched humanity grow. They called Earth a primitive world, a planet not ready for the stars. And now, they had come to take control. Their first message to Earth was cold and clear. Surrender your planet. Resistance will be erased. At first, the world leaders tried to talk. They sent messages of peace, asking for understanding. But the Council didn't want peace. They wanted obedience. Then came the attack. Massive energy beams cut through the sky. Entire cities vanished in light. New York, Beijing, Berlin, gone in seconds. Satellites melted in orbit. The internet went silent. Earth's global defenses fell apart in hours. People screamed, nations burned. And from above, the aliens watched, calm, emotionless, efficient. To them, this was not war. It was cleanup. But humanity is strange. They don't die quietly. Underground, deep beneath the chaos, a secret meeting began. The surviving world leaders, scientists, and generals gathered in a hidden base under the ruins of Geneva. Around a cracked holographic table, they stared at the last image of Earth's orbit, filled with enemy ships. General Rhodes broke the silence. "We can't win by fighting their way. We have to make them regret starting this." Dr. Elena Navarro, a scientist once called crazy, whispered, "Then we bring Project Phoenix online." The others turned to her. Project Phoenix, a name banned years ago. It was a secret human weapon, built using pieces of alien technology recovered from past crashes. No one knew if it worked. But now they had no choice. As the world above burned, the humans below started building. Old factories were converted into labs. Engineers worked by candlelight. Every nation shared their last bit of technology, their last hope, their last dream of survival. Across the world, strange signals began to rise from hidden bunkers. It was the awakening of something forgotten, something powerful. Meanwhile, far above Earth, on the command ship Eclipse, Council Commander Thalos watched the planet die. His face was emotionless, his voice mechanical. "The human resistance is over," he said. "Prepare for population cleansing." But then, his screen blinked. A new signal appeared, encrypted, ancient, human. It carried a single line of text. "Project Phoenix has begun." Thalos frowned. The signal repeated again and again, across every frequency. The human networks were supposed to be destroyed. How could this be possible? "Track the source," he ordered. The ship's AI replied, "Impossible. The signal origin is everywhere." Then something stranger happened. Coordinates appeared on his screen. Coordinates not for Earth, but for his home world, the Council's capital planet. Thalos stared in disbelief. Was this some kind of bluff? How could a dying species threaten the might of the Council? He laughed softly. "Foolish humans," he muttered. "They still think they can win." But deep inside, a chill ran down his spine. He remembered the old warnings from the archives, about species that evolve faster under pressure, species that adapt through pain, species that never stop fighting, even when they're broken. And among those species, one name always returned: humans. On Earth, the survivors looked up through the smoke-filled skies. A single phrase echoed across every remaining speaker, every surviving screen: "We are not done yet." Then, the signal vanished. Silence returned. The alien fleet hovered in the dead sky, waiting for their next order. But below, something was moving. Energy lines spreading through old power grids, hidden machines waking up, lights flickering back to life in abandoned cities. Earth was bleeding, but it was not dead. It was preparing. In the shadows, Dr. Navarro smiled for the first time in days. "Let them think we've fallen," she whispered. The fires of Earth still burned, but under the ashes, humanity was not finished. In hidden tunnels and dark bunkers, people worked day and night. They had one goal: to make the invaders pay. Dr. Elena Navarro led the mission. Her hair was gray from stress, her hands always trembling, but her mind was sharper than ever. She stood before a hologram of a massive machine buried under the Arctic ice. Its name, Project Phoenix. Years ago, when alien ships first appeared near the solar system, some humans had guessed that this day would come. They secretly built Phoenix, a weapon made from alien wreckage found in the deserts and mountains. It wasn't ready back then, it wasn't safe. But now they had nothing left to lose. Navarro's voice echoed through the cold chamber. "We are not building a weapon of war," she said. "We are building humanity's revenge." Engineers and soldiers around her nodded. Old rival nations worked side by side. Americans, Russians, Chinese, Africans, all united by one purpose. Even civilians joined in, carrying metal, fixing wires, bringing food. Every heartbeat on Earth pulsed with one thought: fight back. Meanwhile, above the planet, Commander Thalos watched with growing unease. The humans had gone silent, too silent. Their radio chatter had stopped, no transmissions, no resistance. Yet strange energy spikes were appearing under the polar ice. "Impossible," he whispered. "How can they still have power?" His aide replied, "Sir, their planet should be lifeless. But the readings, they're increasing." Thalos narrowed his eyes. "Then let's remind them who rules this galaxy." He ordered a strike, a massive plasma bombardment targeting the Arctic. From orbit, beams of blue light fell like rain. Ice exploded, mountains melted, oceans boiled. For a moment, the Arctic disappeared into fire. And yet, when the smoke cleared, something strange appeared on the radar. A massive object was rising from beneath the ice, glowing red, covered in alien symbols mixed with human writing. "Sir," the aide said, voice shaking, "something's moving down there." Thalos leaned closer to the screen. "That's impossible." From deep beneath the Arctic, Project Phoenix came to life. The machine was kilometers wide, part ship, part fortress, part living machine. It hummed with energy no one had ever seen before. Inside its core, the mirror drive began to spin. Dr. Navarro watched the readings rise. The numbers climbed higher and higher, beyond safe limits. "It's overloading," shouted one of her assistants. "If we continue, it could destroy the planet." Navarro didn't blink. "Then we destroy it after we destroy them." The mirror drive released its first pulse. For a moment, all across the sky, the alien ships flickered, like lights losing power. Their shields glitched. Their weapons went cold. Commander Thalos shouted, "What did they do? Stabilize the fleet." But it was too late. The pulse spread through space, invisible, yet unstoppable. Every beam the aliens had fired, every drop of energy they sent toward Earth, it was reflected back. Stronger, faster, deadlier. In seconds, 3 Council destroyers exploded, their own weapons turning against them. The humans in the bunker watched through trembling hands. It worked. For the first time, it actually worked. Dr. Navarro's eyes filled with tears. "We did it," she whispered. "We hit them back." But the celebration didn't last. Sirens screamed inside the control room. The energy levels in the mirror drive were rising again. Uncontrollable. The machine had absorbed too much power. It was now feeding on the planet's magnetic field, pulling energy from the Earth itself. The ground shook. Mountains cracked. Lights flickered. One of the scientists shouted, "If it continues, it could tear a hole in space." Dr. Navarro stared at the growing rift on the screen, a shimmering tear forming above the North Pole. She whispered softly, "Maybe that's what we need to win." Above the planet, Commander Thalos watched in horror as the rift grew larger. Through it, he saw something strange. Shadows moving, shapes twisting in the void. He didn't understand what he was seeing, but deep down, he felt fear, real fear, for the first time. He turned to his officers. "Pull back the fleet, now." But it was too late. The rift pulsed once, bright as a new sun, and everything went dark. Silence. For hours there was only darkness. No signals, no sound. Nothing moved above Earth. Then, slowly, light returned. The Arctic sky glowed blue again, and from the frozen sea the giant machine rose, alive, burning with energy. Project Phoenix had survived. Dr. Navarro stood in the control chamber, her face lit by flickering screens. Everything around her was shaking. Power lines sparked, consoles melted. The mirror drive was awake, and it was hungry. "Status?" she shouted. "Stable for now," a technician replied. "But it's doing something strange. It's not just reflecting energy, it's learning." Navarro froze. "Learning?" "Yes," he said quietly. "It's analyzing everything. The enemy weapons, their signals, even our own systems. It's thinking." Outside, in orbit, the alien fleet regrouped. Commander Thalos stared at the hologram of Earth, his jaw tight. "That weapon should not exist," he muttered. "Find it. Destroy it." Hundreds of alien ships formed a ring around the planet. They opened fire, a storm of plasma and laser beams falling toward Earth. From above, it looked like the sky was bleeding light. But before the beams could hit the ground, something impossible happened. The mirror drive pulsed once, a single flash, and all that energy stopped mid-air. Then, in a split second, it reversed direction. The alien ships were hit by their own fire, magnified 10 times. The result was instant. Flames erupted across space. Explosions filled the orbit. Thalos's command ship shook violently as debris hit its hull. "Shields failing!" his officers screamed. "We're losing the fleet." Thalos stared in disbelief. How are they doing this?" The answer was on Earth. The mirror drive was no longer just a weapon. It was becoming something else. It absorbed every attack, every particle of energy, every data signal. It was growing stronger with each second. Dr. Navarro watched the readings rise. The machine's energy output was now beyond anything human-made. "We have to shut it down," one scientist shouted. "If this continues, it could destroy everything." Navarro's voice was calm. "If we stop it now, they'll return and finish us. Let it run. Let it finish what it started." The ground trembled as the mirror drive opened again, a spiral of light reaching into the stars. Navarro's eyes widened. Through the beam, she saw images, strange, shifting visions of other worlds, alien systems, burning skies. It wasn't just reflecting light. It was connecting to something. Far away in the deep void between galaxies, something answered. A whisper, a sound like thunder and wind mixed together. Not a language, a feeling. Anger, hunger, awakening. Navarro gasped. "Something's out there," she whispered. "Something heard us." Back on the alien command ship, Thalos received a message from the Council. They had seen the energy spike. They had recognized the signal, and they were terrified. "Commander," the Council voice trembled. "You must shut it down. Do you understand? That frequency is forbidden." Thalos frowned. "Forbidden? Why?" No answer came, only static. Then, one by one, the Council's transmission relays went dark. Thalos turned to his crew. "What's happening?" The navigator's voice shook. "Sir, stars are disappearing." He looked out the window, and there, in the distance, whole constellations blinked out, swallowed by shadows. Something was moving through space. Something vast. Something ancient. Thalos whispered, "By the stars." What did they wake up? On Earth, alarms blared again. The mirror drive's readings were now off the charts. Navarro realized the truth. The drive wasn't just reflecting power, it was calling power. It had sent a signal, and now something was coming. She stared at the glowing machine. "We wanted to show them our strength," she said quietly, "but we may have shown the wrong thing." Above Earth, the last of the alien ships fled, engines burning bright as they escaped orbit. Commander Thalos didn't look back. He only whispered one line. Humans have doomed us all. The stars were dying. One by one. They went dark, swallowed by something unseen. Across the galaxy, panic spread like fire. Worlds that once stood proud under the Council's protection now trembled in silence. In orbit above a shattered moon, Commander Thalos watched the empty sky. His fleet was broken, his people scattered. He had fought human, but now he feared something far worse. His communication console crackled. A weak signal came through, one of the last surviving Council outposts. "Commander Thalos," a voice said, "you must listen. This darkness, it's not a weapon. It's alive." Thalos froze. "Alive? What do you mean?" "It feeds on energy and stars, planets, even thought. The old archives called it the Devourer. It comes when something breaks the natural balance. You know what woke it this time?" Thalos's eyes widened. "The mirror drive." "Yes," the voice whispered. "The humans opened the path. Now it's coming for all of us." The signal cut off. Thalos leaned back in his chair, staring at the silent stars. He remembered the humans' last transmission. "We are not done yet." He had thought it was defiance. Now it sounded like a curse. On Earth, deep beneath the Arctic, the mirror drive glowed brighter than ever. Its pulse had changed. Slower now, like a heartbeat. Dr. Navarro watched it from the observation deck. Her face was pale, her eyes full of worry. "We don't understand it," said her assistant, Marcus. "It's not attacking anymore, but it's listening, like it's waiting for something." Navarro nodded slowly. "It's hearing what we heard," she said. "That thing out there." Marcus swallowed hard. "Do you think it's coming here?" Navarro looked up at the trembling ceiling. The ground above them shook every few minutes, not from alien attacks, but from the planet itself. "No," she whispered. "It's not coming here. It's coming for the mirror drive." Meanwhile, far beyond Earth's orbit, the darkness moved. It wasn't a ship or a storm, it was alive. A shape too large to see fully, stretching across light years. It consumed suns like sparks, and inside it voices screamed, millions of souls from dead worlds trapped in endless silence. The creature turned its attention toward the small blue world called Earth. It could feel the pulse of the mirror drive, like a heartbeat in the dark. A new source of power, a new meal. In the underground base, alarm screamed. "Dr. Navarro," shouted Marcus. "We're getting readings from deep space, something huge. It's heading straight toward us." Navarro ran to the main console. The readings didn't make sense. The object wasn't moving through space. It was bending it. Every second, it was closer, but not because it was traveling, because reality itself was collapsing toward it. "How long do we have?" she asked. "Maybe hours." She looked at the holographic globe of Earth, wounded, half dead, but still fighting. "We need to warn them. All of them. Even the Council." On the other side of the galaxy, Thalos received an unexpected message. Human code. He almost ignored it, but curiosity made him play it. Dr. Navarro's tired face appeared on the screen. "Commander Thalos, you don't have to trust us, but you have to listen. The thing that's coming, the Devourer, it doesn't care about wars. It doesn't care who started what. It feeds on energy, on life, on thought. If we don't stop it together, there will be no one left to fight." Thalos said nothing for a long moment. The human scientist looked desperate, but sincere. Finally he spoke. "You expect me to ally with the species that destroyed my fleet?" Navarro looked directly into the camera. "I expect you to survive, and for that, you'll need us." The message ended. Thalos sat in silence, thinking. Then, for the first time in his life, he gave an order he never imagined he'd say. "Send a message to Earth. Tell them, we're ready to talk." Hours later, human and alien ships met above the dead skies of Mars. No weapons were raised, no shots were fired. For the first time, they stood side by side. Together, they watched the stars flicker as the darkness drew closer. The galaxy had never seen peace like this. But it wasn't the peace of victory, it was the peace of fear. Above the red deserts of Mars, human and alien ships floated side by side. Their weapons were silent, their engines dim. For the first time, enemies stood together, staring into the same darkness that was now swallowing the stars. Commander Thalos walked through the human command ship Odyssey. Every corner was strange to him. Metal walls filled with human writing, soldiers watching him with quiet anger. He could feel their hate, but he also felt something else. Respect. They were survivors just like him. Dr. Navarro met him at the control deck. Her eyes were tired but focused. "Welcome aboard, Commander," she said. "We don't have much time." Thalos looked at the holographic projection of the galaxy. A wave of black energy was spreading fast, consuming everything in its path. "How far until it reaches us?" he asked. "Days," Navarro replied. "Maybe less." Silence filled the room. No one spoke. They all knew what that meant. If they didn't stop the Devourer soon, there would be nothing left to save. In the hangar below, human and alien engineers worked side by side. They were building something new, ships powered by mirror drive fragments, small versions of the weapon that had once nearly destroyed Earth. Each ship was a mix of both technologies, human creativity and alien precision. Marcus, Navarro's assistant, watched as glowing blue cores were installed into the ships. "Do you think this will be enough?" he asked quietly. Navarro didn't answer. She looked at the stars outside the window, some already gone. "It has to be," she whispered. Far away, in the deep dark between worlds, the Devourer moved. It wasn't fast. It didn't need to be. Every second it grew, feeding on light, feeding on fear. Its body was made of shifting shadows, and in its center were millions of faint lights, the souls of the civilizations it had consumed. It was coming closer. The new alliance gathered their fleets near Jupiter, the last safe zone before the dark wave reached the solar system. Hundreds of ships, human and alien, formed a line, a wall of firepower, ready to face the impossible. In the command room, Navarro stood beside Thalos. "If we hit it with enough mirror drive energy, we might slow it down," she said. "We just have to survive long enough to fire." Thalos nodded. "Then we fight together." For a brief moment, there was unity. Humans and aliens, former enemies, fighting for one reason: survival. The battle began. Sensors screamed as the first wave of darkness reached the fleet. It wasn't just energy, it was alive. It crawled into ships, froze their systems, twisted metal like it was paper. Human pilots shouted over the comms, "My engines are gone. It's inside the hull. I can't see anything. It's everywhere." Alien cruisers fired plasma bursts into the void, but the darkness swallowed everything. Beams vanished. Explosions disappeared without sound. Then Earth's flagship, the Odyssey, fired its mirror cannon. A beam of blue light cut through space, bright enough to blind. The wave of darkness screamed, the first sound it had ever made. It pulled back just for a moment. Navarro's eyes lit up. "It worked!" she shouted. "We heard it!" But the celebration ended quickly. The darkness shifted. It began to speak. A voice echoed through every ship, deep and cold. "You are not prey," it said. "You are my reflection." Thalos froze. "Reflection? What does that mean?" Navarro's face went pale. "It means it learned from us, from the mirror drive." Alarms blared. Ships began exploding one by one, torn apart by their own reflected beams. The Alliance line was collapsing. Earth's last hope was dying. Navarro turned to Thalos. "We can't win like this. We need to find where it's controlling the reflections, its core." "How?" Thalos demanded. She looked at the hologram, at the faint light deep inside the darkness. "We go inside." For a moment, neither spoke. Then Thalos nodded slowly. "Then we take the fight into the mouth of the beast." Navarro gave a small, determined smile. Welcome to humanity's way of war. The fleets prepared. Engines roared. The first strike team, a mix of human and alien ships, began their dive into the black storm. Behind them, Earth's last defenders watched in silence. The blackness of space opened like a wound. Dozens of ships, human and alien, dove into the heart of the Devourer. Inside, there were no stars, no light, no sound. Only a void that swallowed everything. Commander Thalos led the fleet from the front. His ship's hull glowed faintly blue, powered by the Mirror drive core. Behind him flew Dr. Navarro's ship, the Odyssey II, built from the wreckage of the first. Together they carried humanity's last weapon, Project Dawnfire. No one knew if it would work. They only knew it was their final chance. As they moved deeper, the darkness around them changed. It began to take shape. Walls, tunnels, moving shadows. The Devourer wasn't just a creature. It was a world, a living maze made from the remains of everything it had eaten. Thalos watched the scanner. Every few seconds a new object appeared. Broken cities, dead ships, planets torn apart. He whispered, "So this is where the galaxy comes to die." Navarro's voice came through the comms. "Focus, Commander. We're looking for the core, the heart that controls its reflections." The ships pressed on. Outside, the shadows moved faster. Shapes of lost worlds and twisted machines floated past, the memories of 1,000 civilizations trapped forever. Then, one of the pilots screamed over the radio, "Something's following us!" A massive shape appeared behind them, a creature made of light and shadow wearing the outline of a human. Its face was featureless, its eyes burning white. Navarro stared at it through the window. "It's copying us," she whispered. "It's learning who we are." The creature reached out, and the ship next to her vanished in an instant. Not destroyed. Erased. Like it had never existed. "Don't stop," Thalos shouted. "Keep moving." They flew deeper, dodging the attacks. Every time the Devourer struck, it learned faster. It began using their own strategies, their own formations. Each second, the war became harder. On Earth, the rest of the Alliance watched the battle through broken transmissions. Static filled the screens, but one thing was clear. The fleet was being destroyed. Marcus stood beside the surviving leaders. "We're losing them," he said quietly. "We can't even track who's alive anymore." An old general looked up. "Then we send them all our power," he said. "Every reactor, every generator, every spark left on this planet. Send it to the Mirror network." The plan was desperate. If they succeeded, Earth would go dark forever. But if they failed, the entire galaxy would. Back inside the Devourer, Navarro's ship shook violently. Her systems were collapsing. "We're losing shields," Marcus shouted over the comms. "The drive can't handle it." Then something strange happened. All across the ship the lights dimmed, and then brightened again. Power levels surged far beyond maximum. Navarro looked at the readings. "Earth, they're sending us their energy." Thalos's voice came through. "Then let's use it." Ahead they finally saw it. The core of the Devourer. It was massive, glowing red and white, pulsing like a giant heart. Around it floated the reflections, ghostly copies of human and alien ships, each one fighting in perfect coordination. Their enemy had become their mirror. "We'll never reach it," Thalos shouted. Navarro looked at the Project Dawnfire weapon, a device that could collapse a star into a controlled supernova. "We don't need to reach it," she said softly. "We just have to light it up." She armed the weapon. A countdown began. 60 seconds. The enemy reflections swarmed toward them. Every second more ships exploded. Thalos's ship was torn apart, but before it broke, his voice echoed one last time over the radio. "Navarro, finish it for all of us." Navarro's eyes filled with tears. "I will." She pushed the final command. The Project Dawnfire activated. and the sun itself responded. Even from billions of kilometers away, the star began to twist and burn, drawn into a beam of pure light. The darkness screamed. The Devourer's walls began to collapse. Space itself trembled. Navarro stared into the light, whispering, "Let there be dawn." A burst brighter than 1,000 suns filled the void. Ships vanished, the shadows burned. And then, silence. Hours later, Earth's skies glowed with strange colors. For the first time in years, there was peace. But in the silence of space, one last echo remained. A faint heartbeat, deep inside what was once the Devourer. The war was over, or so the galaxy believed. For months, the stars stayed bright again. No darkness, no screaming void, no Devourer. Just light and silence. But silence never lasts. On Earth, the sky was painted in strange colors, orange, silver, and blue. People called it the Dawnfire effect. Every night the heavens shimmered as if the stars were whispering. Children grew up beneath that glowing sky, never knowing the war their parents had fought. At the new Galactic Alliance base, built over the ruins of the old battlefield, Commander Thalos stood on the balcony, watching the Earth rise. He was older now. His once silver armor was scratched and dull, but his eyes still burned with purpose. Beside him, Dr. Elena Navarro walked with quiet steps. She too had changed. Her hair had gone gray early, and her voice carried the weight of everything she'd lost. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Thalos said softly. "Peace always looks beautiful," Navarro replied, "until it's broken." Thalos gave a faint smile. "You still think it's not over?" Navarro looked up at the glowing horizon. She placed a hand on the metal railing. The mirror drive still hums. It's faint, but it's alive. And it's dreaming. Far beneath the surface in the rebuilt mirror facility, engineers worked around the clock. They thought the drive was stable, a relic of war turned into a power source for peace. But at the deepest level, beyond all sensors and cameras, something stirred. A heartbeat. Slow, heavy, like the echo of something enormous sleeping in the dark. And deep inside the mirror core, an image flickered, Dr. Navarro's face. But it wasn't her. It was a reflection. Smiling. Days passed. Then weeks. Strange things began to happen across the Alliance worlds. Ships disappeared near the edges of known space. Stars flickered for no reason, and every transmission ended with the same haunting sound. A pulse, slow and steady, like a heartbeat. Thalos reviewed the reports with a frown. "It's starting again," he said. Navarro nodded grimly. "I told them. The Devourer wasn't just alive, and it learned. The reflection it took from us. It remembers." Thalos looked at her sharply. "You mean it has our knowledge? Our weapons?" She shook her head. "No. It has us. It knows our fear, our hope, our anger. It's not coming to destroy this time. It's coming to finish what we started." One night, Navarro sat alone in her lab, staring at the mirror drive. The lights inside it pulsed gently like breathing. She whispered, "If you're still there, show me." The glass shimmered, and her reflection smiled back. But this time, the reflection spoke. "You gave us light," it said in her voice. "Now we will give you eternity." The alarms exploded across the facility. Energy levels spiked beyond control. Navarro slammed her hand on the emergency cutoff, but it didn't work. The drive had taken control. "Marcus, shut it down," she shouted. "I can't. It's rewriting the system. It's alive." The mirror core burst open, releasing a column of light that shot into the sky. Across the world, the Dawnfire effect brightened until night turned to day. Every screen, every transmitter, every ship showed the same image, Navarro's reflection smiling from the light. "We are the reflection," it said, "and we have awakened." Hours later, when the light faded, Earth was quiet again. No signals, No movement, just silence. When the rescue teams arrived, the facility was empty. Not destroyed, just gone. Not a trace of Navarro or Marcus remained. Only one message was left behind in her voice. Don't fear the reflection. We became what we created. The mirror isn't an enemy anymore. It's evolution. Years later, Commander Thalos stood once more beneath the glowing sky. He looked up and for a moment he saw a shape, a woman's face made of starlight, smiling softly from the heavens. "Dr. Navarro," he whispered. The stars flickered once like an answer, and then the sky went dark.